Hey guys, MLP here. Gonna be doing a finishing reaction to the friendship test at MLP Fanfic reading Grimdark by Lost Narrator. Yeah, I've seen all her bloopers. She is hilarious. I think she voices, not Starlight. I think that's her lover, who voices her in Pinkie Pie.
Years of practice, Dashy. Years of practice.
Oh, I raspberried myself.
And I think about Fluttershy, her lover is,
Come on, baby, what's the name? We threw out his name!
Magpie Pony. There we go. Magpie Pony. Yeah, they're hilarious. She usually, as for Lost Narrator, she usually does Applejack and Rainbow Dash.
What in tarnation? What in tarnation? I'm squeaking weird because Applejack don't squeak. Fucking shit. Go away, RD.
Their voices. Her voice is too deep to do anything higher than the other girls. But anyway, let's just try to add some humor to this really dark video, because that's kind of what I do with my videos. Try to make almost anything comical. But I do know my limits. Anyway, let's just finish this up. Head to a one.
Starlight jotted down more notes on her parchment, while the remaining 4 ponies mourned in shocked silence. When she finished, she ignited her horn, and a burst of magic filled the room. When it struck each pony in the chest, they were left momentarily dazed, before collapsing unconscious on the ground.
I'm your #1 fan. I'm your #1 fan. I'm your #1 fan.
Who are you?
I'm Stewie Wilkes. I saved your life. You broke both your legs.
I taste lipstick. Am I wearing lipstick?
Not anymore.
I've seen a lot of dark cartoons or anime, trust me. Like Elven Lied. Never watch that.
Sorry I had to spring this one on you all.
The wrestling that's
hell?
This says maximum. Oh my god! We've killed weird bastards!
Quieter and easier to place you here myself while you were unconscious.
What?
Starlight's voice echoed.
So she's gonna torture them in their sleep?
Yes. Are you high or just incredibly stupid? I assure you, I am not high.
Friends slowly regained consciousness. They were no longer standing in the circle, but were instead held up by their hooves against the wall, side by side.
Upside
Metal
down?
straps held them in place, and the strange chamber that held them appeared to be made of reinforced glass. It didn't take long to notice that it was built for 6 pony captives, but there were obviously 2 missing.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around what's going on.
Rainbow! An Applejack!
Are they like on
Pinkie
a torture
demanded,
team?
craning her neck to see
Upside
if their
down?
bodies were still within
I
sight.
couldn't remember.
I would refrain from opening your mouth, Pinkie Pie.
You!
This is the test of laughter, after all.
Huh?
You know, they say that laughter...
Oh, that she's gonna make them laugh to death.
cure
Oh,
any
crap.
ailment. Well, I'm going to test that with you 4 ponies.
Oh,
In a
no.
few moments, your enclosure will be flooded with a gaseous substance of my own creation. It's a mixture of toxicity and laughing powder.
Oh.
Inhaled will burn through the back of your throats, causing irreversible internal damage.
Bitch!
It's mostly attracted to moist places, so breathing through your nose will be painful, but probably not
Tear gas?
deadly.
Really?
If you so much as open your mouth to take a breath, I imagine your death will be imminent.
What?
You have to suppress your laughter, or your screams, to live through this one.
What?
Clever, isn't it?
Starlight didn't give
That's
the test subject
impossible.
time to answer her rhetorical question. She pulled the lever attached to the side
Yeah,
of the
reminds me
chamber,
of the Ice Age
and her
one.
I can't take it anymore.
He breathed it! And now I'm breathing it!
Hey! We're not dead! You sound ridiculous! Me? You should hear you!
Don't you see?
We're all gonna die!
Gas began to fill the enclosure. Each pony squeezed their eyes and mouths shut, making only short deliberate breaths through their nose. The gas burned as Starlight predicted, though there had been a presence of a laughing powder tickling their nostrils and daring them to respond.
You mean pepper?
Starlight observed each pony's behavior and jotted them down individually in her notes. Fluttershy's entire body was shaking,
scary as hell.
And she made occasional whimper noises. Starlight assumed that her greatest challenge was not to cry, as the moisture would attract the poisonous gas to her eyes.
Oh no. Try to keep your mouth closed. Oh no, in the nose.
Rarity's face was turning a sickly shade of red, then purple, then blue. She was attempting to hold her breath for the duration of this test, rather than inhale the gas by any means.
Oh, that's gonna make it worse. You're gonna inhale even harder.
Most calm under the circumstances. She had a thoughtful yet determined look on her face.
Yeah, when you go swimming, you gotta learn to hold your breath now and then.
Pinkie Pie, however, visibly struggled. Her body twitched and spasmed as she labored to regulate her breathing. Mentally, Pinkie was screaming at herself to hold on.
How is Starlight
She
not
fought more against the laughing powder
kind of phased out
than
on
the
that
burning.
one.
What's wrong with you?
Little wrong in the head I am from eating some bad sausages. Yes, some bad sausages did I eat indeed, sir. Yes, I did some bad sausages, ate I?
In her throat. Pinkie loved to laugh, and she loved to make her friends laugh too. No pony could laugh as long or as hard as Pinkie Pie, with the exception of Rainbow Dash. It seemed like an eternity ago that the pair of them had gone on a pranking
Didn't they do an experiment with Pinkie Pie having to stare at a wall forever? Or until all the other Pinkies screwed up?
Thinking of Rainbow in this moment proved to be her downfall. When the memories and the anguish proved too much, Pinkie cried out in a mixture of screaming and laughter.
That's gonna burn like a gut.
Knowing that she had failed, she embraced her laughter, sucking in more of the poison with each outburst. She clung to the hope of seeing Rainbow Dash again, until the poison
laughs to
had done its work. Leaving the party pony limp and lifeless in her restraints. Starlight shook her head and glanced at the timer on the wall that her subjects had missed. With only seconds remaining in the laughter test, Rarity finally had to suck in a breath through her nostrils.
She's gonna die.
Moments before she cried out in shock and pain, the bell chimed and the gas receded.
That was close.
My, that was lucky, wasn't it, Rarity?
Pinkie! No!
You should be expecting you're all gonna die at this point. I know it's depressing, but it's too obvious.
Why are you so negative all the time?
What? What?
Her newly departed friend. Her mangled face was a clear depiction of the pain and sorrow she felt at death. Pinkie's eyes were bulbous and bloodshot, with a glassy glaze over the pupils that turned them a translucent gray. Her mouth hung open, showing a great number of boils and blisters lining her cheeks, throat, and tongue. The tears that she had wept in her
extreme smokers right there.
Well, I finally quit smoking, and I'm ready to go back to normal.
Not how it works. The damage you've done is irreversible.
Yeah, Lois is right. As bad as you look, the damage you've done to your heart and your lungs is no doubt exponentially worse.
Caused a trail of blisters to form the path that they took down her cheeks. Starlight calmly pressed the button on the side of the chamber that released Pinkie's body from the straps that held it. She tumbled to the ground for a moment before her body was magicked away in preparation for the next test.
Since I have you all here, it's only fitting that we resume with the generosity test.
Starlight announced.
Wonder what this is gonna be.
She pushed 3 more buttons on the side of the chamber, releasing the remaining test subjects from their clasps that held them.
Oh, I was right. It was one of those medieval wooden
from the ground between each
chains on
pony,
ropes. Okay.
Encasing them in their own individual compartments within the gas chamber. Attached to the walls on the pony's right were a series of 6 red buttons, 3 of which were lit while the others remained dark.
Generosity. Now that was a challenge. How could I possibly think of a situation where one would need to be selfish to pass? It certainly took the longest to create, though I am quite pleased with the results. As I'm sure you have guessed,
He's a big, fat, stupid bitch. Don't say it, Cartman. Well, don't do it, Cartman. Well, I'm warning you. Okay. Well, bitch, she's a big fat bitch. She's the biggest bitch in the whole wide.
these buttons in front of you correspond to the different sections of my clever creation. As Rainbow Dash, Applejack, and Pinkie Pie are unable to take this portion of my test, their buttons have been disabled. Rarity, Twilight,
is this a shocking
Fluttershy?
one?
No, wait a minute. Wait. Hold, if I can...
Your chambers correlate to the remaining buttons, respectively. If you would kindly direct your attention to the vents above you, you will see that they are in fact not entirely open, nor entirely closed. In a few moments, water will begin to pour into your chamber as quickly as those vents will allow. When you press the buttons in front of you, the vent corresponding to the chamber you have chosen will open further. Now, these chambers are connected to one large water vat, and if you choose to abstain from pressing any buttons, the water will pour into your chambers in equal amounts, leaving only a few seconds of breathable air at best.
Oh, that's
You'll need
bad.
to survive 5 minutes in these chambers after the water has stopped pouring in order to pass. So will you be generous with your precious oxygen, or selfish in the hopes that you will survive?
Starlight
they gotta split it evenly? Oh, come
lever from
on.
the side of the chamber, which released the water from the attached tank.
Oh, crap.
Twilight!
Fluttershy screamed in terror, pushing her body against the wall closest to her friend.
What do we do?
We have to choose, Fluttershy. We don't have any other options.
Twilight said, the
Even it out.
hopelessness in her tone sending a shiver down Fluttershy's spine.
But if we press a button, that means some of us will die.
Rarity cried, avoiding the downpour with her mane and tail.
Oh, so one of them will be flooded to death?
No, just one.
Oh.
If you and Fluttershy press the button for my chamber, you'll both have enough oxygen to live.
How do you know that? It's not like we're getting exact measurements in here.
It's a pattern, Rarity. Don't you see? Every test was designed to eliminate a player. If more than one player is eliminated, it ruins her precious test.
Twilight bitterly realized.
Then, that means
You're all gonna die.
one of us can pass the friendship test?
Yes, Fluttershy. I think it does.
Each pony was now lifted from her hooves, the water having filled each of the chambers half full.
Oh boy.
Twilight pointed to the buttons on the wall with a stern look on her face.
This really is
Do
like
it.
The Saw
Do it or
movies.
we'll all
Thank
die
goodness
anyway.
I never saw them.
But
I only saw
it's a friendship. Equestria needs you.
What's the princess of
clips
friendship
of it
without her
on
friends?
TV.
I've already failed Rainbow, AJ, and Pinkie. I couldn't be a princess of something I failed. You've got your animals that need you, Fluttershy. And Rarity, you've got to be there for Sweetie Belle and the other Crusaders now. You have to go on.
And she's Equestria's
So push the
best tailor.
Rarity didn't respond. She reached her hoof in the water for the button to Twilight's chamber and pressed it. It then lowered in response. Seeing Rarity make the decision, Fluttershy too pressed her hoof on the corresponding button and watched sadly as the vent lowered completely in Twilight's chamber.
I love you both. And please tell the princesses I'm sorry. Tell Shining Armor and Cadence that I love them. And tell Flurry Heart
Twilight started, but was cut off when she was submerged in the rushing water. Fluttershy and Rarity struggled to keep their mouths above the water when the last few drops trickled from the vents. From the corner of their eyes, they watched helpless as Twilight thrashed around aimlessly searching for any remaining oxygen. She reached out her hooves towards each of her friends, pressing them against the wall. Twilight's eyes fluttered shut, and the last air bubbles trickled slowly from her lips.
What, you thought those were mine?
As the water began to fill her lungs. Within moments, the princess's body bobbed aimlessly in her watery grave. Starlight continued to take notes of the event unfolding before her.
Yeah, it reminds me of that.
Smirk slowly rising
Plague
from
Dogs.
behind the parchment.
I couldn't finish watching that movie.
Still fought to stay alive. When 5 minutes had passed, there was a loud buzzing sound.
I guess that means
rapidly drained from a series of holes that appeared on the floor.
Ah, crap.
Rarity
2
and
left.
Fluttershy chose to look away from Twilight, neither of them wanting the last memory of their friend to be the princess's lifeless body. Starlight ushered the two of them out of their chamber before pulling a switch and turning off the lights within.
Uh-oh.
Well, I can't say that I'm surprised that...
Hey, I've heard noises in here. Is everything okay?
Turn off those lights!
Oh, wait, I don't think it's supposed to be that way! No!
Twilight's insightfulness would discover the nature of my tests, nor that she would sacrifice
Well, it's too
herself
obvious
for her
you were going to
friends
kill
at the
everybody.
earliest opportunity. She always wanted to play the martyr. Now she has. I certainly hope it was worth it.
Bitch.
Starlight said, leading the final two ponies to the next test that awaited them.
Final
Rarity
test?
and Fluttershy were surprised to learn that the room where this nightmare began was seconds away from the massive chamber where they were held. When they looked back in the direction they had come, the stone wall blocked their view, making the room appear smaller again.
Oh, I've learned all sorts of interesting spells and illusions to prepare for this test. This room isn't as small as you might think.
Starlight said with a chuckle when she saw the confusion on her remaining subject's face.
So, was she right? Are you waiting until one of us is the winner before you end this madness?
This is a test. One does not win. One can only pass or fail. And if it weren't for Rainbow Dash's rash decision-making, we might have been able to take all 6 tests. But I suppose you can't plan and predict everything when making a test such as this one.
Well, you should have predicted she was going to tackle you.
On honesty.
Starlight ushered the remaining ponies to the center of the room and indicated for them to sit facing each other.
Uh-oh.
Once each pony was seated, Starlight ignited her horn, and the same magic rings that had held them once made their reappearance. In conjunction, 4 magic
they
balls
couldn't
of
really
light
fight her
that
anyway.
were shaped like
She's too
apples
powerful.
Appear.
Huh?
2 in front of Rarity, and 2 in front of Fluttershy.
I should have listened to that, damn it.
Forgive my satirical humor, but I thought it was only appropriate for the honesty test to have a little bit of an apple flair. It really is a shame Applejack had to die first. I thought she'd make it this far. Even so, the test must go on. Now, there is a single word etched into the magic apples in front of you.
Okay.
Chance and choice. If you both select chance, then your livelihood will be left up to fate. One of you will die at random.
Oh.
If one of you selects choice, and the other chance, the pony who picked chance will be killed, and the other spared. If, however, you both select choice, you will both die. You must touch one of these 2 apples before the timer runs out.
Oh, come
You
on.
will both be eliminated in the same manner as Applejack.
What are we choosing, exactly?
Which of the cider mugs you will drink? I bought these apple cider.
Oh,
for the
they're
Apple
poison.
family
Well, no shit!
in anticipation of this very event. Prior to this test, one has been poisoned.
Yep.
The test is concluded when both ponies drink, and one of you fails. You have 2 minutes to talk and convince each other which choice you will make.
Oh,
But will you
no.
be truthful or lie to save your own skin?
There was a silence that hung in the air. Fluttershy and
Oh,
Rarity
no.
stared into each other's eyes, uncertainty lingering.
Begin.
This is not going to end
Timer
well.
appeared above the final pair of ponies.
That's a
For
tough
the first
choice.
few seconds, neither pony said a word, until at last the Pegasus broke the silence.
You should go on, Rarity. You can still grow and prosper without me. Your boutiques and your fans. It would be a lifetime of work lost.
Oh,
Not
Flutters.
to mention you mean more to Sweetie Belle than I do to my animals.
Fluttershy, no! I could never compare my work to your own. Your care for these animals has saved lives.
Really, your work is better than hers.
You are such a dick.
You're a dick.
You're a dick.
The two of you are the most annoying dicks in Canada.
I could never continue my work after living through this ordeal. Any sort of happiness I achieve will be forever tainted on the idea that I had to watch you and my dearest friends
And you
die.
don't think she doesn't feel that way?
I won't let you sacrifice yourself for me.
Then, should we?
Yes, I think it's the only way we can live with ourselves.
Oh.
We must pick the chance and promise each other we will do everything we can to go on, if we are in fact the one who is spared.
Rarity said as confidently as she was able.
Yeah.
Fluttershy nodded and reached out her hoof while Rarity did the same. They made their selections, and all 4 floating apples disappeared, leaving a mug of cider in their place. Rarity and Fluttershy stared at the liquor in fear, picking it up with shaky hooves.
They call it liquor?
30 seconds.
Oh, that should be surprising
Starlight
with all this
warned,
dark crap. Never
writing
mind.
more notes on the parchment.
Together?
Together.
The pair of ponies brought the cider to their lips and reluctantly took a gulp. Neither of them could taste a poisonous difference, so each became confident in theirs that the cider was safe. Once each pony neared the end of their drink, Starlight interrupted.
Oh, did I forget to mention that the decision you made will be etched onto the bottom of the cider mug for the other pony to see? That must have slipped my mind.
Both ponies almost dropped their mugs simultaneously when they learned this last bit of information. They looked at their respective mugs to see what the other pony had chosen, and the color drained from their faces.
Fluttershy?
I'm
so sorry.
Starlight smiled as the fast-acting poison she had created took effect.
Horses are terrible people.
Causing Fluttershy to cough as if she were choking.
I'm so sorry!
Rarity screamed, wanting to reach out to her friend. Fluttershy couldn't respond. She was desperately fighting whatever strange poison was taking its hold on her. All Rarity could do was watch in horror as the life of her friend slipped away. Starlight levitated the mugs with her magic to inspect them. Rarity's mug had Chance engraved on the bottom, while Fluttershy's had Choice. Rarity's betrayal was clearly stamped on her face as she fought back a fit of nausea.
At least you got to live.
You failed. Thanks to you, I have proven that magic is only as powerful as the ponies who wield it. And as promised, you are more than welcome to return to your home in Ponyville and seek whatever punishment for me that you deem appropriate. Though, given the fact that my magic has picked your friends off so easily, I caution you to choose your vengeance carefully. If I were you, I wouldn't want to anger some pony that powerful.
Yeah.
But there is one last thing you need to do before you're allowed to go.
Oh no.
It will give me such satisfaction to hear the conclusion of this test read aloud.
Oh,
by
please
the
don't be
only
as dark as I
living
think you're gonna go.
participant. It's only one little phrase, and then you're free.
Starlight.
Oh, I thought she was gonna have her eat her friends. That would have been disturbing as hell.
I'm done. What the fuck? You're not right in the head. I'm done. You jerk! I thought we were friends. I thought we were friends.
Of the test over to Rarity, with only the last line visible. The unicorn read it to herself, then looked up at Starlight in hatred.
Here, I'll get you started. After thorough investigation and testing, it can be concluded that...
Starlight gave Rarity a frightening smirk, waiting for the unicorn to finish the sentence. She hung her head in defeat and uttered the final words.
Friendship isn't magic.
Leave with that? You know, that's like cutting a huge fart and then walking out of the room. And that's how we'll remember you, as a big fart.
Goodbye, big fart.
That was dark. Well, that was my reaction to the final part of Friendship Test, MLP Fanfic reading, Grimdark, Lost Narrators videos. Anyway, yeah, have a nice day.
Congratulations!
Congratulations! This is the darkest sketch, darkest sketch, darkest sketch, darkest sketch